Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh. So praising Yahweh, singing to him, right? A new song. And his praise in the congregation of saints, Israelite. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of the remembered ones, to Zion one, be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name, Yahweh, and the dance. Let them sing. See, praise and sings in the same sentence. Sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, the Israelites. He will beautify the meek, we the meek, with salvation. He's going to save us, the elect. Salvation means to be saved from impending danger, right? Delivered from impending danger. Let the saints be joyful with glory. Let them sing or praise. Let them sing aloud upon thy beds. We're going to be getting up in the morning.
Psalm 149. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. The Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord.
The elect are coming. The gods of the earth are coming.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, is getting into a lesson, dealing with you don't have to beg a believer. Okay. And first and foremost, of course, we're talking about the believers in Yahweh Shai, and those that were predestined from the foundation of the earth. There's something in them, okay? There's a drive, okay? There's a force within them that you wouldn't have to beg them. If anything, you would have to reel them back in, from doing too much, okay? And I want to go, in a few different ways with this because, as you have, the latest happenings, amongst Israel, the Spirit is speaking to the church, as you read the book of Revelations and, Yahweh Shai, he came and addressed, certain issues that he had, okay, with certain churches, okay. And one of the churches, it was dealing with those, all right, believers, all right, not remembering their first love. And Yahweh Shai addressed it. So what we have to understand in the spirit when certain things are happening, it's just like in the book of Revelation when Yahweh Shai is speaking to the churches and he's addressing particular things. And the first thing we always have to do is look inwardly, man. Okay? And when these things happen, man, we have to ask ourselves hard questions and be honest with ourselves, man. And one of the main questions is, do we believe? You know, it's something I have to ask myself. Do I believe? Sit back and analyze the doctrine, what it entails, and ask myself, do I believe this? Okay? Am I willing to put everything on the table for this? Okay? If a decision had to be made today, all right, dealing with, death or being homeless for this truth, okay, do I believe enough to do that? And these are true, you know, uh, 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 you know, uh, conversations that we should have with ourselves. When we see what's happening in the church, the Yahweh Shai speaking to the church, we should immediately look inwardly and ask ourselves particular questions, man, because there's no sense of having self-examination if we're not going to be honest with ourselves, man. That's the worst thing you can do is be dishonest with yourself, man, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Because no one knows us more than we know us outside of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, okay? But other people on the outside looking in, because we can put on the show, okay? Because we're only in front of people for moments, okay? And you can put on the show for moments, but we with ourselves 24 hours out the day. We know our weaknesses, we know our flaws, we know our shortcomings, we know our history, we know, you see? So when we examine ourselves in the spirit, we have to be completely honest. And one thing that Yahweh Shai, matter of fact, let's get there real quick. Like I said, we're going in the spirit. I was looking at a few things before, but the spirit go whatever we want, and we'll come back to that. But when you go to in 2 Corinthians, I believe 13:5, okay, 2 Corinthians 13:5, and see these are things that precepts that we usually go into, but then it's like, okay, what does this mean? It's one of the things as I read, certain things, repetitive. I want, okay, what did this mean? Okay, how do I apply this? All right, 2 Corinthians 13:5, it says, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Okay, and it's a daily maintenance. You see, the truth requires a daily maintenance, man. We can't go a day without examining where we at in this thing, man. Okay, examining our conduct, examining how we're reacting to situations, man. Examining how we're maneuvering in the world. How much time am I giving to the truth? How much time am I giving to this? Am I losing time? Okay, is time working with me? Is time working against me? Okay, am I distracted? What can I sharpen up on? What can I remove? All right, that could allow me to get closer. Okay, the people around us, examining them. What is this a liability or asset? What is this? Why are you here? So this is a daily maintenance that we have to do. Okay, and what can happen is we can go links and times without doing any daily maintenance, man. Okay, and the next thing we know, we have a reprobate mindset. While thinking that we in the clear, that we in good standings, but we haven't been, doing that maintenance. Okay, and we really, all right, have slid backwards, man. Men have slid out the truth, thinking that they was good, going through the motion, not really, being doing the bare minimum, and not only just with the lessons, but the work off camera. Okay, there's The discipline starts off camera. It takes discipline to be consistent, okay? But the true discipline starts off camera because that's a whole nother level of discipline, man. Because you can just like you learn your job, okay? You can just go through the motions with your job. You see, you learn the ins and outs of your job, then you can kind of coast and get by, get your paycheck and get out of there. And the same thing can happen in the truth, man, because it's so repetitive, okay? You kind of know what precepts go with what topic, and you kind of know how to respond to certain, news clips, and you see, and you can get into coast mode, okay? And you be thinking that you in the good, but you really coasting. You really not growing, okay? And if we really believe, those are things that will be checked. Okay. When you go to finishing this off, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves. Yeah. Who knows us better than us? Know ye not your own selves, man. I'm the first one to know when I'm bullshitting. Way before anybody else. You know? I know when I'm bullshitting, man, when I'm falling short. Okay. I know when I need to chill. I know when I need to fall back. Okay. I know when I'm doing too much, not doing enough, my balance off. I know. Okay. We know. The thing is being honest with ourselves. Everybody know. You know when you bullshit. Okay. you be honest. Men and women. You be bullshit. Okay. But the thing is, are we gonna be honest with ourselves and make the adjustments? Because we're making the adjustment because why? We believe. No one has to beg us to make the adjustments if we believe. Now we can be, you know, we can miss something, and the brother has to, we have to be corrected, or the Lord has to cause something to happen to intervene. But even then, okay, what are we going to do? Is this going to be repetitive where you have to be begged to make a change, or you sit, damn brother, so lucky I ain't know, and then that brother never had to say nothing to you again because now you like, okay, I gotta make that adjustment, man. Why? Because you believe. Okay? When you believe, no one has to beg you to do anything that you're supposed to be doing. You can be told one time, all right, and you never, no one ever has to address you about that again. Why? Because you believe. Okay? So when it comes to belief, you don't have to beg a believer, man. It says, how dare Yahweh Shai is in you except you be reprobates, man, which means void of judgment, man. Okay? So at the end of the day, if Yahweh Shai is in us, Yahweh Shai can't be contained. If Yahweh Shai is in us, if the Heavenly Father blessed us with having the gift of the Spirit of Yahweh Shai in us, Yahweh Shai can't be contained. Okay? Yahweh Shai, okay, that's why I say the Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. What? The Spirit of Yahweh Shai that's in us is always willing to be productive for the kingdom to come. You see, we have to really understand what we're a part of. Do we value this thing? Okay? When something is valued, it shows in action. All right. That's why I go to this parable, and it's the first parable I wanted to go to. When you go to this parable in the book of Matthew, chapter 13, okay, I believe in 44, and we get it in the uh NLT, Matthew 34, 13 and 44. All right. It says the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in the field. And this is a treasure that we found in the earth, man. This understanding who we are, who our power is, and what we got coming. And we understand what's expected of us. All right. The scriptures say, happy art thou, Israel. The things that are made that are pleasing unto the Lord are made known unto thee. Okay. Baruch 4:4. That's a treasure, man. And the Lord is allowing us to be pleasing to Him, man. Okay, Yahweh Shai, we're allowed to show our appreciation for what Yahweh Shai did. This is a privilege, man. You see, when you look at something as when people look at when someone does something as a privilege, and they look at it as a privilege, you're gonna get a completely different production out of it. Okay, you're gonna get completely different output, completely different attitude when someone looks at what they're doing as a privilege. When someone looks at what they're doing as a chore, okay, you're gonna get a completely different outcome, a completely different attitude. Okay, you see, when someone looks at something as a chore, you gotta beg them, you gotta remind them. Okay, they're gonna try to cut every corner they can. You see, but when someone looks at something as a privilege, all right, you're not gonna have to beg them. You might have to correct them. You might have to, have a counsel or two with them about, expectation. You see, and you're not gonna have to beg them to do anything. Okay, someone looks at this as a privilege. All right, they're gonna go above and beyond. Like with anything, you might have to reel them in because they so tapped in that they might get a little unbalanced. So you might have to reel them in and be like, hey, balance them out. Okay, there's a difference when people look at something as a privilege and when they look at it as a chore. Okay, completely different outlooks, man. Okay, so it said the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in a field. In his excitement, he hid it. It said in his excitement. You see, this thing should be an excitement, man. We have the privilege to talk about an everlasting kingdom, man. All right, you gotta understand the heavenly Father and Yahweh Shai, they're smiling on this, man. The angels are rejoicing at this, man. Do we believe? At the end of the day, do we believe, man? That's what it's coming down to. Watching the brother, all right, Priest Shimon out of the main camp, okay, the beloved brother, all right, and he was going to our El Apostle Bar, after camp, because how he get down straight to the chase, okay, he don't hold no punches, and he said that the El Apostle Bar was like, look, man, do you brothers believe, man? Okay, and if not, don't come back next week and see this where the spirit is at, man. Okay, because we at the point now where it's like, goddamn, if the world is even still, if you look at the world with some type of value, then there's no way you can really believe in what we got coming. You see, every day we should look at the world and, all right, the world should be devaluing to us every day, and the kingdom should be increasing in value every day, man. Okay, there is no way that we can believe on these promises, okay, and still have some type of value in this world. Okay, so when you keep reading, it says he hid it again and sold everything he owned to get money to buy the field. Okay, let you know he had what? An all-in mentality, man. And then he said he bought the field, so he didn't come back and just get the treasure. He bought the field, and he bought the field. That means he didn't mind doing the upkeep and the maintenance on the field just to have this treasure, man. Because when you buy land and property, it's a lot of upkeep. Okay, that's a lot of upkeep when you have land and property, and it's a lot that come into that. Okay, so the fact that not only was he able that he come back and get the treasure, he bought the whole field, which means he was ready. He was willing to do the maintenance needed. Okay, as long as he got that treasure, man. You see, so man, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's not taking nothing less than all in, man. Nothing less. You're going to get that. It says, and again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant on the lookout for choice pearls. When he discovered a pearl of great value, he sold everything he owned and bought it. Okay, he sold everything he owned and bought it, man. All in. Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, he's not expecting nothing less, okay, than all in. If it ain't all in, Yahweh Bashim Shai don't want it. Keep it. He don't want 80%. Okay, he don't want, because one thing about it, we can't customize the sacrifice that's required of us, man. We gotta sacrifice what's required, whatever the Lord requires, man. Abraham, he couldn't bargain when the Heavenly Father wanted him to sacrifice Isaac. But the fact that he was willing to do it, that's what gave him everything, man. Okay? So let's go back. Because what did Yahushua say, man? Let's get St. John. Yahushua not gonna expect nothing less than all in, man. And you women too. You women, you think you're gonna be partial and pick and choose the parts of the truth that you agree with, and the parts you don't agree with, and think it's gonna be on your time and when you accept things. Nah, man, your ass gonna be on the outside looking in. Okay, your ass gonna be left. Okay, the Lord's gonna require all in from everybody, man. You see, and one thing about it, if you believe, you don't have to beg a believer. There's a man or a woman in the truth. You don't have to beg a believer, man. Okay, when you go here, this is Luke 14:27. It says, and if you start at 26, all right, and it says, if you want to be my disciple, you must hate everyone else by comparison. Okay, so what it means, what that compared to the love that we have for this, man. Okay, everyone else is a far second, man. By comparison, everything else, all right, it takes way less, priority, man. You see, because when you're into something, every decision you make is based on what you're into, man. Okay, it says, if you want to be my disciple, you must hate everyone else by comparison. Your father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even your own life. Otherwise, you cannot be my disciple. Okay? Even our own life, man, the life that we had in this world before we came to the truth, man. Like, nah, man, that takes a back seat to this, man. This is everything now. Okay? Of course, brothers got their situations and children, but at the end of the day, man, goddamn. Okay, we're not here to be family, man. We're not here to be the best husband in the world. We're not here, all right, to be the best fathers in the world. We're not here for that. We got eternity to do that. That's going back to, do we believe? It ain't that we don't want to be, good husbands and great fathers. And we don't have time we don't have time to prioritize that right now. Okay, we handle these things. Brothers handle their business. Brothers run their households, man. Okay, but that's not the priority. This is the priority. This got to be done, regardless if nothing gets done, man. This got to be done. You see? So at the end of the day, whatever excuse you can think of, because one thing about it, when it's something that you love, you don't make excuses. Okay? When it's something that Jake want to do, when it's something that the nigga woman want to do, they don't make excuses. They make it happen. You see, when it's something that you truly treasure, that's a value to you, you don't make excuses. You make it happen. Okay? Point blank period, man. Okay? So Yahushua is requiring a particular type of commitment. And the longer we in this thing, man, the closer we get to the end, the more that's going to be required of us, man. Okay? Just on the left-hand side, when these niggas sell out, they don't just have to do one thing. And no. Hey, Satan keep requiring more from these niggas, man. Okay? This time, just put some fingernail polish on. Then next, okay, put the dress on. Okay, next, okay, we got a scene where you kiss another man. Okay, next, well, we want you to be in the scene naked with another man. Okay, just keep going and going. Now, okay, now you to the point to where, okay, now you need a blood sacrifice. On the left hand side, they keep requiring more and more on these niggas, man. Well, on the right hand side, Yahweh Shema Shai requires more. Every so often, he requires something to get put on their altar, man. Okay, he gonna test us. Are you down like you said you would? Hey, that's it. And we don't pick what we get to put on the altar, man. The Lord pick it. You see, and it's gonna be something you be like, damn. you know. But hey, the Lord gonna pick it. You see, and that's gonna be the point of proving. We're constantly being proven in this thing. Okay, well, it's an old, it's a character flaw we got that we don't want to sacrifice and turn loose because we've been surviving off of it. That's just me. So you don't want to sacrifice that character flaw. You see, it can be finances. You don't want to downgrade. You know, it could be certain people that you think that aren't a hindrance, but the Lord like, nah, you gotta cut this nigga off. Okay, this is what I'm requiring right now. You see, the Lord picked the sacrifice, man. All right, you see, and we got set whatever it is, going back to all in. Not what Yahweh Shai say, not my will, but thy will. This the play. Okay. Verse 27 says, and if you do not carry your own cross and follow me, you cannot be my disciple. You ain't worthy, man. If we can't put everything all right under, okay, if we can't put Yahweh Shai above everything to say it better. Okay, and we can't center our life around Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and that's time, resources, energy. Okay, if we can't bring our first fruits to Yahweh Shai, which is, like I say, our time, energy, resources, energy, effort, okay, concentration. That's why, because it's only so much that we can have on us, man. All right, there's only so much the mind can take. You see, before it starts spitting things out. So we begin to take on a lot in this world, then it starts to spit out Yahweh Shai. You see, that's why when you go here, what it says in 2 Timothy, okay, there's only so much the mind can take before it starts spitting things out, man. The mind is finite. This flesh that we in is finite. Okay, it has a limit. So you can only put so much in before it starts to spit things out. And then we constantly taking things in this world, and got ourselves spread thin and distracted over here, and got this going on and that going on. Okay, well then eventually Yahweh Shai is being spewed out. We begin to leak out Yahweh Shai, man. And once it's gone, it's gone, man. Okay, we've seen plenty of guys leak out. So when you go here to is that 2 Timothy 2? Okay, yep. It says 2 Timothy 2 and 3 says, endure suffering along with me as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Okay, hey, we've been enlisted, man. It says soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life, man. These people are civilians. We're not like them. Okay, well, I say we don't have all this time to focus on being this great husband. We do what we can in spurts, but we don't have all this time to do that. We're not gonna be the best father. We're not gonna be the father of the year. Okay, civilians have time to do those things. We don't. Okay, this is a spiritual war. You see, this is a spiritual war. Okay, and we're on the front lines of it. Okay, we got posts, we got things that we have to hold down. The rest of the troops are depending on us to hold down our posts. Okay, in the spirit. You see, because if this falls through, guess what? Because guess what? If you're a man at war, okay, if you lose the war, well, there's nothing between, all right, the opposing forces and your family. Your family is done. If you don't do what you're supposed to do in the battlefield, your family done anyway. Okay? When you defeat the enemy, guess what? You take spoils home to the family. If you don't defeat the enemy is finna go have their way with your family. Okay? So we're on the front line of a spiritual war. And see, you have to understand, if everyone is not everybody that doesn't have this mission that the Lord hasn't assigned to this mission, they don't understand the mission. That's why it's easy for them to draw you into some shit that don't matter. Okay, to get you to, they don't know. It's not given to them to know. It's given for us to know and to do what need to be done. Okay, you're gonna have some times of them pouting. They're gonna feel some type of way in this. They're gonna be all right. Okay, or they can get light. Okay, ain't no compromising when it comes to this. Yahweh Shai not compromising, man. He not taking the back seat. He's not even sharing. He's not doing 50-50. Okay, Yahweh Shai wants to be highly prioritized in our life, man. Okay, and he's not going to share his attention with nobody else, man. And if you're of the elect, okay, and there's a sacrifice required, and we bullshit with the sacrifice gonna happen regardless. It's just gonna be okay. We can do this the hard way, or we can do it the harder way. Okay, because if the Most High get involved, the we of the elect, and the Most High has to get involved when it comes to something that we're not willing to sacrifice, hey, it can get real bad. Okay, just speaking, just seeing things on the sideline, and then just going through things. Like if the Lord has to make that sacrifice for us, it's gonna get bad. Okay, it says soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life, for then they cannot please the officer who enlisted them, man. And there's no way to please Yahweh Shai if we're not prioritized on the front line of this spiritual war, man. Okay, you have to understand we in the kingdom of Satan. You see, so we shouldn't be distracted by Satan. There's no way you can be in a war against Satan and Satan has you constantly distracted. Okay, you see, that's the main part of the war is focus. You see, we win on the other side, man. This ain't this world. We should see this world should lose its value every day when this truth, man. Okay, you see. So let's go here. And I'm gonna say, and mainly, this for all right, the men. Now you women, there's a different sacrifice that's required, man. You don't have to be. There's not a lot required, from you women. If you women just listen, chill, understand the play, okay, not be combative, you can win. And that's the thing with you women. With the woman, there's nowhere near much is required. You just have to be a woman, okay, according to the scriptures. You just have to be a woman according to the scriptures, and you women, you know what's required. You know what's required, okay. And then even like the thing with multiple women, brothers don't even got time to just have women all over the goddamn place, man. Okay, brothers don't pass that phase of just being Isaiah folk. Brothers past that. Brothers don't mature past that. You got younger brothers coming in, eyes might be glossy because they just don't know yet. Okay, but Eve, they're gonna bust that shit up. Okay, but at the end of the day, all right, as a woman, you know what's required. Okay, you know what their sacrifice is, and the main thing that the women don't want to sacrifice is the authority given to them by the serpent. That's what women try to hold on to from putting on their altar, is that authority that was given to them by the serpent, where they really don't have to be submissive. They can be partial, they can kind of listen to, they can kind of be submissive, selective submissive, with things, their emotions, they still want to be heard and seen and all that shit, man. But you few sisters that believe that's playing the background, okay, and having the mindset, okay, I'm all in, understanding what you're a part of. Okay, this ain't this ain't Hebrew hookup or none of that. No, man, you have to be willing. Okay, let's go down. All right, you have to be willing. You see, to lose it all. Okay, when it comes to what this kingdom, the kingdom, this you have to understand that. Okay, I play a part in this kingdom to come. Okay, and it's the background. That's the realization that most women have to come to. My role is in the background. There's certain things that I shouldn't even have an opinion on. Okay, there's certain things that I shouldn't even have, a voice in. Okay, certain things I have no expertise. I'm not capable to even be a part of it. Okay, conversation. You see, in this world that taught women, that they're equal or above. Okay, so the requirement for women is different than what's required for men. Men, there's a lot that the Lord requires from His sons. Okay, but the women, it just converting back to being a woman because the serpent that took you so far, goddamn left. Okay, bugged you out, got you all masculine, got you all combative, got you all rebellious. You had to go back to being a woman. You see, like just the basics of being a woman, that an assistant to a man. Okay, and you gonna win. You just have to be an assistant to a man, and you gonna win. And that's the thing, brothers. We shouldn't be in the business of begging no woman to be no goddamn woman. Okay, we not in the time for that. We don't have time to teach you how to be a wife. A, B, C. We can't. We don't have time to do that. It's too much. There's too much. There's too much. Emotional maintenance that need to be. That's too much. Okay. You see, you gotta take that on. We can't be occupied in that. Okay. And like Elias woman said earlier, women, I'm the weaker vessel. Well, goddamn it, you gonna have to toughen up. Okay. You can't try to have these crutches. Like, nah, man, you gotta make the adjustments. You see, everybody gotta make adjustments, man. And the Lord, it required nothing less. All right, but all in. But going back to the point, we can't get tied up in civilian life, man. This day shit. We here on the mission now. See, when us being born, we was birthed into an assignment, into a mission. Speaking to you brothers, man. Okay, these people are civilians. Okay, their life can be about a video game, sports. You see, that's civilian talk. Okay, the best rapper, the best, the best 3-point shooter. See, they can get caught up and engulfed in that shit. They can be on the podcast arguing, and that's civilian shit. Okay, we can't get caught up in that. Okay, I say it's a balance. The Lord, every now and then He allow us maybe to move around, but then it get to a point to like, okay, what about this? You see, if we believe, it shouldn't be much that excites us about this world. I get more excitement about getting more understanding, man, reading about our forefathers and examining how they move, man. Like right now, just seeing how Alicia, just really, it's my first time just really going into the life of Alicia, man. And Alicia was solid, man. Like Alicia, he was so calm and collective in every situation, man. He had complete faith. You see, whenever adversity come, Alicia, he would just speak. You can tell he had a calmness, man. Okay, and he was just telling everybody what they was gonna do and what's finna happen. He said what he said, and that was that, and it happened. Surrounded by the Syrian military. His servant panicking. Alicia like, look, Lord, Open his eyes, let him see what this is, man. You see, that's the type of faith we need to get into these times, man. And that's way more valuable than anything, man. Because the only thing that's finna matter is who's in good standings with Yahweh by Shema Shai. Who has, you know, in this grace period, who's been pleasing to Yahweh by Shema Shai. Okay? That's the only thing that's finna matter. You see? But see, what's the point of being a prophet if we're not gonna prepare for the times to come mentally? If we're not gonna, uh, 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 if we're not gonna be dead to a world that we know. Matter of fact, let's get there, man. You see, what did Apostle Peter say? You go here, 2 Peter 3, okay, and we'll start it. This 2 Peter 3:10 said, "But the day of the Lord will come as unexpectedly as a thief." Okay, then the heavens will pass away with terrible noise, and you go into that word heavens. It goes into the zenith. And it goes into the pretty much Esau's empire being at its peak. Just to sum it up, when you go into a different definition. Okay, so this devil, he has reached the peak of his empire, man, and the Lord finna erase this bitch, man. You see, and that's part of the scam of the devil, is to get everyone brought into this shit and to be in awe, and to just be in, oh Lord, this shit is great, this shit is amazing. Okay, it said, then the heavens will pass away with terrible noise, and the very elements themselves will disappear in fire, and the nukes, and the earth and everything on it will be found, all right, will be found to deserve judgment. Now, read this in the KJV. Read in the KJV, it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, the nukes, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up," man. The works that are therein shall be burnt up, man. Everything that this society has produced, man. Okay? Everything that this society has produced will be burnt up, man. Won't be no Hollywood, won't be no NBA, won't be no music industry. Okay? Won't be no, Ferraris and, foreign cars and, music videos and everything about this society that is produced is gonna be destroyed, man. Okay? You're not gonna be in the kingdom talking about stats, who had the most rushing yards, okay? The best running back to come from the SEC. Okay? You're not gonna be in the kingdom talking about those things, man. Okay? And the Lord is elevating us past that shit now, brothers, because I like sports, but goddamn. Okay? And then it's like, brother, we like particular things, but now it's like all those things take a far back seat to this, man. Because there's no feeling like increasing in this, man, like the Lord dealing with us in this, man. Nothing else compares to that feeling. You see? Nothing in this world gives us the fulfillment of purpose like doing this, man. Okay? And that comes from what? Belief. That's fueled by belief. You see? It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, man? What manner of person ought we to be? Okay? Well, it's 2025 and you got to be big to do something. You got to be big, got to goddamn. Because one thing about, like I said, in the world, when I believed that I was going to go play football in college, no one had to beg me to practice. Okay? No one had to beg me to go work out. Okay? If the field was open, I was there. If the gym was open, I was there. No one had to beg me to do anything. I had a belief. I was operating off of belief. Okay? When I didn't believe in that anymore, then I didn't care about doing the extras. I had got into the music thing. When I was doing music, no one had to beg me to go buy equipment. No one had to beg me to go DJ the clubs. Okay, I was there. First one there, last one to leave. That's why I had music dreams. And you see, whenever we smoking weed, no one had to beg us to roll the blunt. No one had to beg us to chase women. No one had to beg us to do none of these things, man. If you got to beg someone to do something, they are not into it. Okay? Like I said, as a man, if you have to beg a woman to listen to you, she don't respect you. Okay? Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go into her childhood history. No, she don't respect you. If you got to beg her, okay, she don't respect you. Okay? So we got to, if the Lord got to beg us to do something, then what? We don't, it shows they don't have a reverence for Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. If the Lord has to beg us through brothers to do things, or the Lord has to, you know, you know, take us through all these different things to try to get us to do right, then there's just a lack of reverence, man. That's what that's rooted in. You see, when when somebody is into something, they gonna be into it. Okay, if somebody is really into something, you don't have to tell. You don't have to. When someone is really into something, they don't have to tell you what they're into. You're gonna see what they're into. Their life is going to show you what they're into. They don't have to speak one sentence to you. If you just was able to study, all right, and examine how people moved on a day-to-day basis, you would see what they was into. They wouldn't have to say one sentence. Okay? So what manner of person are we to be? You see? Let's go here to First Peter. No, Second Peter again. We'll go to the first chapter. Okay? This goes into growth. All right, and I'll read this in the NLT. Second Peter 1:1, it said, this letter is from Simon Peter, a slave. Wait a minute, a slave. You see this terminology? This letter is from Simon Peter, a slave, an apostle of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. I am writing to you who share the same precious faith we have, man. It's the faith, this precious faith. Faith is a motivator. Okay, if we believe, okay, when we go into the scriptures and go into the promises and what the Lord says we have coming, if we believe in that, man, that's the motivator. Okay, the scripture says, I believe, therefore have I spoken. Okay, it said the faith was given to you because of the justice and fairness of Yahweh Shai, our power and Savior. You know, so this is based on the goodness of the Lord that we even hear, man. Every day we get to wake up and show appreciation. Okay, only a few people are in this position, man. Look at all the people that we encounter in our day to day. Okay, and there's only a few people on earth that the Lord has allowed to show appreciation to Him, man, for His goodness, man. Because that's all we can do, show appreciation, man. We can't earn nothing. We can't earn the Lord's goodness, man. We're showing appreciation because we believe. Okay, we can't earn immortality, man. You know, been the truth, 4 years and you see, like you earn immortality. No. Okay, 10 years, 30, it don't matter. You can't earn immortality, man. There's no way to do that. So we showing appreciation. If we believe in immortality, then it's gonna be like an infinite, it's gonna be a constant drive in us, man. Okay? It's gonna be a constant drive, man. When people are serious, they show you they serious, man. Okay? When people are bought into something, you don't have to persuade them, they're bought in. Okay, it don't take a lot. If you gotta do all this, just like going back to the analogy of a woman, if you gotta do all this to get a woman, if you gotta beg her to go out, you gotta call 2 or 3 times. She's not into you like that. Okay, the men that women are into, them niggas don't have to do nothing. She's the one that's being active. Okay, and niggas don't have to have no certain job. Niggas don't have to have no skills, no quality. Niggas ain't got to have no certain type of shoe. Hell, niggas ain't even gotta be free. Okay, if the woman like the nigga, man. Okay, it's a completely different experience when someone looks at what they're doing as a privilege or as a chore. Completely different experience, man. Okay, it said, "May the Most High give you more and more grace and peace as you grow in your knowledge of the Most High and Yahweh Shai, our Lord, man." You know, so is Apostle Peter's writing to the Israelite foreigners, man. You know, he's praying that they have more grace and peace, man. And this the thing: there's peace in Yahweh by Shema Shai, man. There's absolutely no way that there's peace in this world, man. Okay, the world just leaves you empty, man. You get that temporal, whatever, you get your temporal fix, and you feel empty as hell. It's like another part of you is gone. Okay, but in this, man, it's just a constant uh, uh, increase in peace. Okay, and understanding and wisdom and how to move, man, and what true love is. You see, the expectation of what's to come. Okay, and it says, by His divine power, the Most High has given us everything we need for living a godly life. Man, we have everything we need. This is it. This is we should be satisfied with what the Lord has given us in this truth, man. We got a beautiful network of brothers. You know, we have this understanding, man. We have this wisdom. Okay, we have our daily needs, man. Hey, the internet stay on. You see, when the internet, whenever it's a Wi-Fi, we good. Okay, we constantly being fed. You see, the Lord's constantly showing that He's dealing with us, man. We're constantly getting faith boosters, man. We have everything we need for living a godly life, man. Okay, it says we have received all this by coming to know Him. You see, and see when we believe, the truth is to come up. You know, like you look at like the world, man, because even certain jobs and certain money, it come with so much headache with this world, man. Like I'm good. I'd rather have my peace in Yahweh Shai, than increase and chaos that come with this world, man. You know, my thing is to be around less people as possible, man. That's outside the truth, man. Everybody gotta do what they gotta do, man. But hey, it's just so peaceful you know, um, when you really don't have to deal with people like that, man. Especially when you can be around, hey, those that are like-minded, man. Because you can be you. You see? So it says, we have received all this by coming to know Him, the one who called us to Himself by means of His marvelous glory and excellence, man. You see? So the Lord called us into Himself. We've been called. The King has summoned us, man. But going back to, if we do we believe this, man? Like, do we wake up excited every day that we get to serve the King, man? Like, we speak about Yahweh Shai, but we have the opportunity to serve Him. So how much should we be tapped in and making the most of the moment? You see? So when you go back into it, where we at? Let's go right here. It says, and because of His glory and excellence, He has given us great and precious promises. These are the promises that enable you to share His divine nature and escape the world corruption caused. All right, the world's corruption caused by human desire. So here it is. We have a chance to partake in His divine nature, man. We finna get new bodies, man. Like, do we believe that? Okay, do we believe these things, man? We finna get immortal bodies, man. What the scriptures say? Let's get that First John real quick. All right. Um, let's get that First John chapter 3 and verse 4. Okay, and the Bible just full of nuggets and gems that just constantly enhance our faith, man. Okay. Yeah, First John 3 and 2, it says, "Believe now are we the sons of the Most High. It doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is," man. So here it is. We're gonna be in those glorified bodies with Yahweh shot, man. There's no way you have to beg if you believe this, man. If you believe that, you don't have to be begged to do anything, man. Okay? There's no way that we can say we believe and have to be begged at the same time. That don't add up. It's something missing somewhere in that equation, man. Okay? It's not every day we're gonna be on point and on fire and enthusiastic. You're gonna have down times, man, but that's when the fight come in at, man. That's when the fight. See, the Lord expects us to fight too, man. We gonna have, temptations and trials, and sometimes life put us on the edge. We're gonna be frustrated. We're gonna be, on edge. But that's when we still got to fight. The Lord will cause a little certain chaos to see if we're gonna fight to get back to this thing, man. Because we can have, systems going, and like I say, we can get to coasting because he's like, man, he on fire, but really the brother be coasting, he's like, because he, everything's set up. And then the Lord will shake shit up, cause some chaos, and say, okay, is he gonna fight to get back to me? I'm gonna see, is he gonna fight to get back to me? Okay, and then just keep that dog in us, man, and it makes us appreciate, being able to do this, man. Okay, but if we have to be big, we don't believe. There's no way. Okay, or the Lord has a demon on you that has to be exercised off. But you exercise demons by being active, man. The worst thing that we can do is be isolated in this thing, or fester thoughts about brothers, and and be that lone wolf, and just be out there, mainly in the world and really not tapped in, man. That's Satan. That's his stadium. That's his arena. That's Satan home court. That's where he excelled at. Satan has a hard time dealing with us when we're close to Yahweh shot. But when we're really not tapped in, when we stray off, and that's when Satan, that's his home field. Okay? And Satan undefeated out there in the world. Satan undefeated in the world. And you go out there and play around in the world, and that becomes your thing, that becomes your comfort, that becomes your reason, for existing. Satan undefeated out there. And on the flip side, if we cleave to Yahweh Shai, there's nothing Satan can do. Okay? Satan has no power or authority. Even Yahweh Shai said that when you go to this is St. John chapter 10 and 27 says, "My sheep," my fact, I gotta jump up because he made it plain. Let me jump up to 22. It says, "And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. And Yahushua walked into the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Hamashiach, tell us plainly." Okay? So they were asking Yahushua to tell them plainly. Okay? This Yahushua answered. Yahushua answered them, "I told you, and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me." Okay? So Yahushua said, "I told you, and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me." Okay? So Yahweh Shai, here it is, he's preaching every day. Okay, he's doing miracles all the time, and they still didn't believe. So Yahweh Shai, like, goddamn, what else can I do? I'm walking on water to wine, the blind see, the lame walk, the deaf hear. Okay, what else can I do? You see? And you look at in the world, you look at all these prophecies that's happening real time right now. Okay, and if that's not convincing, then that's the work. Because guess what? That's the works of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. So prophecy happening in real time. If that's not convincing you to tap in more, what else can be done? Okay, what else can the Lord do? He's here. It is. Things written thousands of years ago are happening in real time now. Okay, if that's not a faith booster enough, if that's not motivation enough to be tapped in, there's nothing else. What else? What else can be said? If the works don't convince you, what else can be said? Okay, but he makes it plainly. St. John 10:26. But ye believe not, because you are not of my sheep, as I said unto you, man. That's why you believe not. Okay, because you're not of my sheep. You see, it ain't no gray areas, and it ain't no, you know, because your daddy one in the house, and your auntie, no, you believe not because you are not of my sheep. Okay, that's why you don't believe. You see, it's not in you, so there's nothing that can be done to convince you to believe. Okay, and the Lord got it to where we see things happening, man, and it's like, damn. And it makes us go back to the drawing board, man, because we know that we at the mercy of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man. It's all up to him, man. Okay, the Lord doesn't owe us anything. We're not entitled to anything, man. Okay, this is all the Lord's goodness that's happening right now, man. This is because the Lord decided to be good to Israel, and he has a remnant that he's going to preserve in these times, man. This is what this is about, man. And there's promises and rewards just based on the Lord's goodness, man. We didn't earn nothing. We not owed nothing. Okay? We haven't finished. That's the thing too, man. We should want to finish this thing, man. You see? We don't want to, have this legacy of what we could have been. Like, nah, man. We want that legacy of finishing, man. We want second Esdras, the second chapter, man. Do you believe that every brother gonna get the crown? You believe you're gonna be crowned by Yahweh Shai? Just like El Apostle Gabar said, man, he like one of his main motivators is for Yahweh Shai to tell him, job well done. Come on, man. Yahweh Shai say that to you personally, man, job well done. Yahweh Shai. It's like, how can these things be taken lightly, man? So at the end of the day, Yahweh Shai is requiring this to be our life, man, and he's not taking nothing less than that, man. He's not taking anything less than that, man. Get some of these out the comment board. Yep. All right, this to the beloved brother Abaya, Elder Abaya, Judah 2011, Shalom, bro. Matthew 6:11, give us this day our daily bread, man. Because at this point, that's all we need, man. Okay, we on a mission. Okay, if you're a soldier on the front line, you're not walking around with a refrigerator on your back. You got just what you need. You got a few things to get you by. You're not walking around the refrigerator in the closet on your back, man. Okay, and that's the mentality that we in, man. So it's a mindset. It's a mentality that the Lord wants us to have, man. Okay, and he's not going to take anything less. Okay, and it says this 1 Peter 1:4. It's another from the brother of the Bible, Judah 2011. It says, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, that fadeth not away, reserved in you in heaven, man. And you have to think, man, because as men, of course, we want rank, we want authority. But see, part of growing and understanding, we know, okay, we got all that coming in Yahushua. That's why Yahushua was able to tell Satan, look, I'm good. Satan was trying to give Yahushua everything that this age had to offer. Yahushua, like, I'm straight. Because he understood I got all this coming in righteousness, man. Why would I go the left hand way, man? And we know, and it's like now you got people in the world tired of the world. So how can we be in this faith, okay, and still be reeled into the world? Of course, we men and we gotta check ourselves, and we might have a night or two here and there. You like shit, but a lifestyle, or you see some type of future in this world, or like what? Okay, people in this world are tired of this world. Okay, so it's like, nah, man, we got so much more. We have everything coming and so much to look forward to, man. In your house shot, and this gonna be incorruptible and undefiled, man. All right, it ain't gonna be no scandals about the brother in the kingdom. Okay, a brother ain't gonna be a has been in the kingdom. No, that brother legacy is gonna be immortal, man. The brother's gonna be forever living legends, forever have that privilege, to be around Yahweh Shai. This is another thing, like as Israelite men, hey, we stand a chance of being the first fruits, man. Not only being delivered, man, but brothers that the Lord is allowing to teach and edify his sheep, man, we have a chance to be of the first fruits. We have a chance to be of that number, man, to be at the tables with Yahweh Shai, man. Like I want to be there. I'm going for mine. You see, inside joke. You know, so it's like man, I don't get it. I'm missing the point. This another one from the brother Haka Judah 2011, elder brother Baya, second Ezra 7:57 said, then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, man, because our circumstances change, man. Okay, as brothers in the truth, our circumstances change, man. You might have a lot of money, a little money, decent money, no money. Okay, one woman, three women, no woman, -1. This shit can change. It's gonna change, but guess what? Got to be consistent, man. The care of the churches, man. The Lord requiring it, regardless of what our external, all right, situation is, regardless of what our circumstances are in our day to day. The Lord still requires us to fulfill our office, man. That's the condition of the battle. The Lord requires us to figure that shit out. And the Spirit gives us what needs to be done. If we tune into the Spirit, we can try to ignore what the Spirit is saying. Like I say, we can try to ignore what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Okay? But at the end of the day, you see, the Spirit gonna always get what he wants, man. How about Shema Shah always get what he wants? Okay? So either it's gonna be a Judas Iscariot, okay, or it's gonna be a Jonah. You see? Well, either way, the Lord gets what he wants. Okay? So reading down. This Psalms, it's the brother Kazak Ban Yahweh, Psalms 55:22 says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? And that's the thing, the Lord, the more that we pour into this, the more the Lord intervenes and help us carry, even in our day to day. I know, and there's things that I go through, man. I know the Lord be jumping in and intervening, man. Okay? He jump in and intervene, man, so I can do this. Okay? Because this is what the Lord wants from us, man. There's been plenty of days where the Lord will just clear shit out and make a way for me to do this, man. And that's what building relationship. That's being familiar with our power, man. Okay? But when you 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or you holding grudges and you really don't believe, you just putting on and nah, man, the Lord not dealing with that, man. The Lord want all in or nothing, man. The Lord want everything or nothing. If it ain't everything, the Lord don't want it. Okay? That's why you can and we'll go here. As I just rolled in the spirit. Let's get back to that First Peter, and then we'll get that off Second Peter 1. Nah, man, and see, we should be our hardest critic in this thing, man. We should be our hardest critic, man. We should catch most of everything before it has to be addressed, before it has to come to council, man. We should, you know, be catching most of everything. Now, some things, because you can sincerely just be off. You think you was in good, you know, um, you know, you think you was using good judgment. You was off and had to be told because, and that's a humbling thing too. The Lord, make it to where you have to come to counsel to see, okay, is He gonna take counsel? That's a test, man. You gotta look at everything as a test, man. You know, and sincerely want to do right. All right. So this back in Second Peter 1:5, it says, in view of all this, make every effort to respond to the Most High's promises. Supplement your faith. Matter of fact, get this get this part in the KJV. Back in First Peter 1, see, and Peter, which hey, this is King David. He's giving us the blueprint to win. Like we read, Second Peter chapter 1, about 1 through 10, man. This is Peter giving a blueprint on how to win. Like, do this to win. Okay, it says 2 Peter 1:5. It says, and besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and patience godliness, man. Okay, but what did it say? Giving all diligence, man. There's a diligence that's required. Okay, this is truth. Hey, we're gonna be uncomfortable, man. The Lord, hey, He requires us to get uncomfortable in this thing. You see, because to truly serve the Lord, man, hey, we're gonna have to get uncomfortable at times, man. Okay, but see, hey, diligence is keeping us occupied, keeping demons off us, man. Okay, if we want to be distracted, we want to be distracted in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, not the world, man. Okay, it says into your faith, virtue, into virtue knowledge, man. And this goes into what? Your virtue goes into your morality, man. Your morals. Okay? The Lord wants us to excel, in moral excellence, man, especially around the brothers. Beginning with the brothers, the body. Okay? And then knowledge, man. Understanding what we're a part of, man. Okay? Understanding what we're a part of, man. Understanding the will of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. Okay? Hey, the Lord, hey, we're here, okay, serving captivity, man. You see? We're not here to be all we can be in this society, man. Okay, there's nothing wrong with, if you can make a move and better your situation, there's nothing wrong with it, man. Okay? We're not here to make that the focus. Okay? Because we got obligations and we got to, do things and tend and maintain ourselves. There's a balance because you have to maintain our situation so we can, maintain this. Okay? But this isn't everything. Okay? It says into knowledge, temperance, and to temperance, patience, and to patience, godliness, and to godliness, brotherly kindness, and brotherly kindness, charity, man. And temperance goes into discipline, man. And the Lord is always testing our discipline, man. Putting us in situations to see, okay, how much has He grown? How much has she grown? I'm gonna put them in a situation, okay, and see how disciplined is going to be. The temperance goes to self-government. Going back to it, if we got self-government, you don't need to be big. Okay, we got self-government in the truth. No matter what our circumstances is, we know one thing. All right, our office gonna be held down. Okay, it might not look the prettiest all the time. It might not be the most systematic and punctual, but the office gonna be held down. Okay, and it says in godliness, brotherly kindness, and see, brotherly kindness, is not just buying drinks for brothers, or, you know, cooking or being, well, that's a part of it. But then true brotherly kindness, man, is constantly being an example of how to be in this truth. That's the highest form of love. Okay, if a brother can mimic your life, okay, and if he can take things from your life or mimic certain things from your life that gets him closer to your house shot, that's the biggest form of love. Okay, you see, there's no greater love. Why Scripture calls this what the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your works and labor of love that you've done in His name. Hebrews 6:10. Okay, it says, "And to godliness, brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, charity. For if these things be in you and abound," so these things have to be in us abound, not just one or two. All these things, man. We can't pick and choose. Okay, I'm gonna abound in this. I'm gonna abound in this. I'm gonna neglect this. I'm gonna just do extra in this, and that's gonna make it. No, you gotta abound. Whatever you know portion that we have, we got to abound in all this, man. You know, the Lord expect us to be well rounded in this thing, man. Okay, he said, "For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that they shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach," man. Okay, so if we're doing these things consistently, man, it makes it where we're not unfruitful, man. Or we're not barren in the spirit, where our spirit is not a desert. We don't want to have our spirit that's in the desert, man. Not being nurtured, not being watered. No, man, we gotta continue, to nurture and water the spirit of Yahweh Shai that's in us, man. And abound and keep abounding in this thing, man. Nothing else to live for. You see, there's nothing else to live for, man. You see? It says, verse 9, it says, "But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see afar off," man. If we still, if we're, caught up in this world, and you look into this society and like, okay, we had Jake Lee the Camp to go be a rapper, man. Like, god damn. you know it's like, man, did here it is. We've been talking about missiles every week. You talk about the lewdness that goes on in Hollywood every week, and you leave to go be a rapper, to pursue a music career. Like, damn. But it goes back to what? Belief. Because these same men that you will have to beg them to do things in the spirit, but now when they go back into the world, they don't have to be begged to do that worldly shit that they was into, man. Diligent as hell. Okay? But it shows they can't see a far off, man. You're aspiring, to be something in the world that's on the brink of destruction, man. Okay? It's like applying for a job in a burning building. Okay? It says, in the end of it, says, "They have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. Wherefore, the brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye should never fail," man. Give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Because we know we're called. We pray that we're elected, man. Okay? And the Lord has the word. We don't know if we are the elect. We have signs that it's a possibility, and that should make us fight and not get lax and comfortable. No, it should make us fight more. Okay, get more diligent. The Lord showing these signs, get more diligence, man. Okay, so in these things, we apply these things. Okay, it keeps us in good standings, man. You know, keeping it simple goes a long way, man. Keep it simple. Teaching this word goes a long way, man. You know, these side missions of this world is not worth it, man. You know, so that was the point. You know, expect to go that long, but hey, at the end of the day, you don't have to beg a believer, man. You know, so Lord will you, brothers. All right, and you sisters edify once again. And give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us young brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations, hopefully, Shalom.